I'd like to say thanks for having me here, and I sure enjoyed being able to perform in front of y'all. And obviously, yeah, they're not always the same horse every day. Some days a little flawless, close to being perfect, and some days not. But I told Jeff, I said, I've shot off of him before, but I've never done a ground time shot off of him. But I wasn't afraid to try it. I figured in my heart that he would stay there. But he got a little fearful when he left. But we can work on that and perfect that, and that's what it's all about. In these courses, you might come up upon challenges that you know your horse is not the best at. Not that he can't get there, but maybe he's just not there yet. When you're coming into a course and you're being judged, and say your horse doesn't want to do a water box, doesn't want to do the teeter-totter, you're going to come in and you get points for an approach. You come in and you approach it and you get some refusals, one refusal or two refusals. You can look at that judge, acknowledge that judge, nod your head and say, I tried. But then I'm going to go home and work on. You go to the next one and you go where you can shine the best you can and get your points where you can, you know. But I will say this little horse was bred just as a cutter. And people used to say, oh, you can't get him to do anything else. He's too reactive. Well, he's done a lot, he's accomplished a lot, and has made him a better horse, I think. I like to make him multi-purpose. So it was good for me because I like to do all kinds of challenges. And I think it just makes an overall good, broke horse. Better horseman, better rider, better horse, better team, you know. So we're gonna, as Jeff said, we have a little booth set up over here. We have a few show dates that's gonna be going on in Baton Rouge, down there by LSU. We are looking for judges to get certified. We're looking for people who want to become hosts, who want to become affiliates, and you don't need a fancy place to host these. You just need good, safe grounds and come up with good, safe challenges, you know. So I hope you enjoyed what you see, and there's all, like I say, it's not just this every time, you know. You never know what you're going to be faced with on the challenges, but like I said, you know, if you come across something that you haven't faced yet, you go home and you work on it, you know. But I started 3 years ago, and with the obstacle course challenges, and we did pretty fair and went to the world, and it was very nice, very challenging. I met a lot of nice people, and that's what I'm in for. Just meeting new people and new challenges and branching out. So we're going to have a, in September. Mister, do you know the date? September 27th, 28th, and 29th, our national finals for the American Horseman Challenge will be held in Abilene. And you can find out information about that too. You only have to make, this year being it's our first year, you only have to make 3 qualified sanctioned shows to qualify to go to the nationals this year. Next year will be in the top percentages of the classes to qualify. So it'll be exciting, and there are some people across the nation who do clinics about obstacle course. I'm sure there's a lot of people here who do clinics, and just like the colt starters, they're using obstacles, they're training their horse the same way. It's just that we just put it into a race, you know. But it is about horsemanship before the speed. So that's what they look for. They look for good horsemanship in everything you do. I know some of these young ladies, they were a little nervous at first, but I see them over there going through some pretty scary obstacles. that obstacle, he said, I don't think so. But, and to me, that I call it a little noodle gate, can represent just the same thing as vines. Say you're going on a trail ride somewhere, you know, vines or limbs coming out at you or something, and just basically desensitizing your horse, you know. As far as, you know, just say the challenge of the flag. A lot of times you might come up against a trash bag that flies out from somewhere in front of your horse if you're out somewhere. You know, you get them broke, desensitized to the flag. You got that covered. You have tarps covered. Same thing as the cowboy curtain. It's a lot of that is desensitizing. I definitely have to work on myself now that I've challenged myself to the brown tie and shoot. I have to work on that myself. But I wanted to try it. I wasn't afraid to try. I knew if he went somewhere, he wasn't going to go far. Do any of y'all think y'all might want? I know I did it a little fast. You can rate your horse. I hope somebody out there is going to want to try it. They do different things. There are some obstacles that put roping in there. You might rope a live steer, or they might have you rope a barrel or a steer head on a hay bale. There's drags. You can drag behind your horse, like log pulls. Logs aren't heavy. There's lots of different little obstacles to do. Good job. Great job. Is that the first time you ladies been through that? Yes. All right. Yes. Yes, that's what I do want to say too. Just like my husband's holding the cart, you know, some's on one side, the horse doesn't feel as, like claustrophobic. You know, they can kind of see a hole and they can kind of make their way. And that's how we start them off, easy. These courses are not, we don't set them up for failure. We want everybody to succeed. So, just like the tire, when I first started this horse out, I just did a little water hose, like a black water hose in a circle. You know, you start out short, and then you can go higher and higher and higher. The same thing as the pallet. You start out with something short, something that you can send them and get their feet on, and then you can build up in height. Builds their confidence up. The same as the jumps. You don't ever start out with something high to begin with. You know, you build your way up. Like the barrels or cones, I always kind of start out with something higher. You know, that horse can see that. Something bigger, something higher. He can see that in his eye, and you can start turning. I use a lot of leg side passing, or, you know, hind quarter movement to get him to go around any obstacle that it may be. Pushing him over, same as like a side pass. Let's just say I'm going to keep walking and walking and walking around these cones, and then one day, it's no big deal once I get the side pass movement over him. I just side pass over it. Logs or small landscape timbers, or let's say we straighten out the water hose. We use the water hose to start side passing, and then eventually you can get up to where you can go over something that's larger. And basically that builds confidence in your horse. The trust is there. And you just work your way up to bigger and better things. Anybody have any other questions, or anybody working with any obstacles or sensitizing with their horse? Desensitizing. I sensitize him and I desensitize him. We might have to get I have a little water hose in there. This horse might have to start off on something smaller. And if you notice on this, don't try to go home and cut a tire in half. Sometimes people get in trouble with tires. They don't ever cut that lip out of it. And when you first start them and they go in there and they get scared and they kind of start tap dancing with their feet, they get their hooves caught on that, and then they start dragging it, and it's a kind of big scary thing. Unless you cut the lip out and lay it flat, that's what I'm saying, the hose or something flat. It could be anything that will lay flat. All this is right here is mats from like Tractor Supply. Any of those places you can buy mats for your horse trailer, and it's just cut, and you can cut it smaller. It doesn't have to be that tall. But if they do step on it, it flattens out. You know, you don't get hooked on it. She's gonna try to step into the ring, just basically getting them to put their feet in it. And when I get my horse's feet in it, I just rest them. I make that my resting spot. Then I might not push that horse there. I might, once I rest there, then I might move on. We might do a little walking, we might do a little trotting, we might do a little loping. Then we come back, there's my resting spot again. Soon enough, he's going to want to put his feet in there because that's where he gets his rest from. And you have to make those places. Just like the water box. It could be the pallets. This horse used to not like a water box at all. He still doesn't really care for it, but he gets in it, and I have it, and I make this my resting spot. Soon enough, he loves to get in the water box. Same thing as the pallets. He can't wait to get up on that pallet.
Susan, what was the most difficult obstacle for Cajun to accomplish whenever you were working with him as a younger horse?
That water box right there. And at different shows, some are, we have standards, but some of them are a little narrower, just like the narrow bridge. Some are narrower than this, so it's a little bit to squeeze for them. Some people put styrofoam on the bottom of the board. I don't know if y'all can see this, but it has holes. Now we don't have a whole lot of water in this. Whenever you fill this up with a good bit of water, there's a floating piece of plyboard in here with holes in it. And when he steps on it, it's got a lot of water. It really shoots up pretty high. Sometimes they put styrofoam underneath the bottom of it, and it really floats it up. So when the horse steps on it, it'll sink a little bit and float up and move. And that movement underneath their feet, you really got to have some trust there between horse and rider to get them through it. Sometimes they don't have the board in there. So it's just different obstacles, different challenges. But yes, that was his biggest thing. You know, I could take him and he would go through a pond. He would go through water in a pond, but that box right there was not natural in here. And that was a huge challenge for this horse. Huge. Sometimes we think the simplest little thing and it's like, what are you thinking? But I just kept working with him, and what I did for this box is I put some panels up and I made a funnel to this bridge. So he pretty much had to. I have some gates leading from an outside barn to an inside barn, and this water box was the only way to get in that barn. It was the only way for him to get back to his stall, the only way to get to his food. Eventually, got him in it, got his front feet in it, kind of just like that tire right there. Get him in it. This is good. This was good. This was a good start. He's wanting to get in it now. And then, well, most of the time I just side pass him out of it. Because once we get here, I don't want him to say, okay, that's all I have to do, then I back out. I just did some lateral movement. And he's like, that's wrong, Mama, we're not supposed to be doing that. We're supposed to be walking forward, But that's how I started him out. I just made like funnels to get him through the obstacle. And pretty soon, with some time, just like everything else, repetition, we worked it out.
What about that side passing over a barrel? It seemed like that would be very complicated and something pretty scary for a horse. To have something underneath it and you're just going sideways over it, just seems like that would be something very difficult to train a horse to do.
Yes, and like I was saying earlier, I started out with things that were small, things that were very small. First of all, you have to have that side pass, that lateral movement on that horse. They have to get comfortable with your leg pressure. And I want to race that horse. When I put that pressure on that horse, I want him to rate to my leg pressure. If I want to speed him up, then I just apply a little more. But you got to get that first. Then you start out with small stuff, flat stuff on the ground. Then you build your way up. You might build just like this pipe that's underneath this teeter top. Let's say you start with that. I just get them to go over it first, straight. I get them in the center, I get them comfortable with standing over something. And sometimes I'll just walk them across it, go on, pet them, go on to something else, come back. Then I'll step him over it. Let's just say I get one little step. Then I pet him. I reward him for that one step. And it's building. It's building on every obstacle until you can complete that obstacle to how you want it, And then you can call that, something that you've succeeded in, So.
A normal thing whenever you're just walking on the ground is one thing, but when you get on this teeter top right here, this horse probably would have a perception that he's about to fall when this thing tips over on the other side. It seemed like that pivoting bridge, it seemed like my horse would really have a problem with that.
I did that at the beginning, yeah, about the time thing. Yeah, and like I say, when I first started the teeter-totter, I just start off, small. Maybe not something that's teetering this much in height. Small, little movement. Then you build up, and you can build up to big posts underneath of it where the teeter falls this much. Everything, most of the obstacles that I came across, it's just starting out small and working your way up. And don't, I try not to fight my horse about it. I try to understand that he's scared. I know that he's scared. I try not to get nervous or upset or make it a big deal. Don't make it a big deal. You just build on it. Get him to put his feet up there and wow, that's something. And when he gets comfortable with these step by step by step, then you make it a little bit more. you know, and then you get them right there and, you know, basically able to get him to this point. But start out small, like bridges. Don't start out with a narrow bridge. That's kind of like walking a mountain thing. Start out bigger, then move to the small. But like on the side passing, start out small, move up to big. You know, always try to keep your horse centered over an obstacle. I don't ever want to come up to an obstacle, you know, and not be centered. I want to center my horse up, give him his head. Don't hold up on him. You're keeping him from doing his job. Let him see the obstacle. Let him put his head down. Let him get comfortable with it. Let him smell it. Let him have some rain. Try to keep him in between your legs. Keep him centered. But yeah, there was a time that he didn't want to side pass over anything big. But you just keep working on it. Just keep working on it.
Okay, Susan, what about that ball out there? How do you teach that horse? That's not a natural thing either, to be able to push that ball over there. And I saw you just jump on that ball like you owned it, you know?
Actually, the ball was a pretty easy thing for him. So I really didn't have to work on the ball very much. Actually, that is the second time. I'm sorry, third time, because I pushed it over there. In this arena was the third time Caden's ever pushed up on a ball. And you know, maybe it was because I had desensitized him to so many other things. And he trusted me enough not to panic about it. That's the only thing I can figure. Sometimes when you desensitize him to a certain thing, just like the tarp or the flag, you desensitize him to the flag, maybe the curtain might not be such a big thing for him. Some horses it might be, some it may not. And I don't know, maybe it was because Caden's done a lot of cow work. I know that ball looks nothing like a cow. But it was a challenge for him that he liked, and he's like, this is cool. Some horses just like some obstacles, and they're not really so much of a challenge. Some that I would think when you walk through ponds. Okay? The water shouldn't be a big challenge to you. The ball, in my opinion, I thought should have been a big challenge to him. Totally opposite. The water box was a huge challenge for him. So, I think a lot of the other things that I had done to desensitize him, the ball was just, let's go with it, you know? So sometimes when you do that, it just takes care of a lot of things.
You know, I think Caden has developed a trust in you, you know, that he knows you're not going to put him in a place where he's going to get in trouble, and all this desensitizing and all these obstacles, you know, that are just not normal. They really look like they come natural to him because he knows that you're not going to put him in a bind, you know, and look like you'll have a good relationship.
That's exactly right. And that's what it's about, and it's about building that bond and that trust, and that's what I really like about these obstacle courses. And you can start out slow and build some amazing horses. Say, for instance, this little colt right here. I think he had only had at the time about 10 weeks of riding on him. I sent Joker to, many of you know, I sent Joker to Mr. David Carter for 10 weeks. I got him back. David desensitized him to a lot of stuff. David didn't have a water box. I had a water box. I had it underneath my arena in the middle. And I called him up out the paddock. He was free. He could have walked, he had 8 feet to walk on this side of the water box and 8 feet to walk on this side of the water box. What does that horse do? I'm standing like where that comb is and the water box is in between me. That colt walks straight through the water box. I'm not holding him. I don't have any control over him. He wanted to. These horses look for a job. They want a job. I was amazed. You know, I'm like, that was cool. That horse was not bred, so-called bred, to do trail. But a horse, you can teach them to do anything. When you spend the time with them, when you show them that these obstacles are not their enemy, you know, they're not going to eat them. You know, they won't. Like he took pride. He's, you know, you can see it. He looked at it. He took one look at it. He put his head down. He's like, "Look at me. I got this." He's on free will. And that's how David starts his cul-de-sac. He has obstacles out there, and he's like, I said, you didn't have a water box, but whatever David did with him, he took care of a lot. You know? And then I just went from there with him, you know? So, early on, you can develop some really good broke horses. So, and then they become really enjoyable to ride.
Well, as you can see, these obstacles right here are a challenge. You know, these horses haven't done it, and they're having a problem with that bridge over there. You know, you can see that. And you just work with them and develop a trust that they trust that you're not going to put them on anything that's going to hurt them. But these horses are just not used to this. They're obviously having trouble right there with that bridge.
And from what I understand, Heather had said that, have these horses ever done any of these obstacles? No. Heather said they have not done any of these obstacles. So you can see the horses are very relaxed. I mean, here we got the flag blowing over here and, you know, lots of stuff going on. They're good. And before long, they're going to want to do this. Really, really want to do it. So they are doing an excellent job. You can see both riders relax. That's the way you need to do. You need to stay. Don't make it a big deal. Don't fight your horse over it. Sometimes, just say this flag. The first time, you might not be able to come up and just do this. Don't get frustrated about it. You know, if as far as you can get, it's here. You know, you make them relax. You know, then you can circle this flag. And pretty soon, you'll be able to come up to it. But just give them their head, let them smell it, let them see it.
When you get here, say walk. Walk way up there. That's right.
Look straight, baby. Look up, chin up. Keep them straight. Excellent. Excellent. That's all right. Settle down. Breathe. Breathe. Nice job. Nice job. Look ahead. Look ahead. Relax. Let him have his head. Let him have his head. Easy. Easy, okay. Stop it. Easy. Y'all are doing such a great job.
Once you get through there, just talk to them. Guys, to get these through, if once you get them close to it, if you stay seated down deep, drive with your seat muscles instead of, come on, let's go this way. We don't want the pressure on the front end. We want to drive their back and forward and look up. 9 times out of 10, when people are getting trouble in my clinics, it's because they're looking down. We start looking down, we put all that pressure right here, and they're thinking, oh, we're supposed to stop, there's a problem, they're looking. But if I can get my riders to relax, drive with their legs, but pulling their faces around, but guide their shoulders where you want it. Like this horse here, if you notice, it kept the rear end kept swinging to the left. Instinct is, and the bridge was here, so she kept saying, I gotta pull this right rein to get them over there. Well, when you do that, you disengage your rear end. And so they swing away from the obstacle. So what we needed to do in this instance is, instead of pulling our horse's heads towards it, that disengages the rear end and swings further away, we gotta make our horses look the opposite way. That pops your inside shoulder closer to the obstacle, and use your outside leg to keep them straight. Everybody understand what I'm talking about? So, if I have my horse, Susan, just walk your horse and get a left eye real far. Okay, if she wants to side pass that horse to the right, she's going to push the right front shoulder to the right, okay? Now, that horse was doing that, and the bridge would be like the Susan's left right now. So to make that horse stay centered, or towards me more, she had to get a right eye and use her right leg to say, now square up. We don't try to steer our horses by pulling their heads around. We want to just control their eyes and direct their shoulders. Does that make sense to everybody? I always tell my students, pretend you're the puppeteer master. Your hands got strings tied to the shoulders. And we just, if they're too far over, we just want to shift them over. Pick them up, move them. Don't pull their head. If we pull that head, what's going to happen is we're going to disengage their rear end and we're too far away from that obstacle. Okay? And then once we start relaxing and looking where we want to go, we get good results. Okay? Now I understand this isn't her horse. I don't believe this is your horse, is it? Is this your horse?
Is this your horse? No, we use him.
So she's not real familiar with him?
Not familiar at all.
Okay. This little girl, and this is what's cool about this whole sport. I get a lot of students that are middle-aged, and then I got the little tiny kids, and these little kids just they have no fear. They don't have a mortgage if they fall off. So, I don't want any adult to get upset if I got a little 5-year-old that can ride the socks off a horse, you know. It's all about trust. When you start trusting your horse and trusting ourselves, your horse will follow you. But I want to thank you ladies. You did a fantastic job.
I want to say something too about
these obstacles. Let's just say the water box. If you're going to approach this water box and you're looking down, you know, you're just as nervous as the horse. You're telling that horse, oh my gosh, there's something fearful here. And when you don't keep your chin up and raise yourself up, you're pushing a lot of weight down on this horse. Like, no, 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 no. When you lift yourself up, you lift your chin up, and you give them their head, you're saying, yes, yes, yes. Yes. You're taking a lot of weight. When you're looking down, you're pushing a lot of weight down on this horse. When you lift yourself up, push your chin up, and breathe, that's saying, yes, I trust you. We're going to get across here. We're going to do our job.
How about tomorrow? 10 o'clock. Anybody wants to bring over stuff? I'll work with you free. How many of you think that looks like fun? How many of you have horses and think you'd like to try this? Come on now. How many of you have a horse trailer? All right. Bring your horse tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I will give you a free clinic. We'll have some of these obstacles set up, and we'll help anybody that wants some help. Okay? I hope we get a great turnout. This is a great sport. I didn't get into this trying to make money. I got into this to try to make better horses. So, please, get your horses, brush off the dirt, bring them out, let's have some fun tomorrow. 10 o'clock. Thank you guys. Love you.